Let me sit with you for a moment, right here at this quiet table, and speak gently about something that has been weighing on far too many good people. There is a mistake that countless older adults make not because they are careless, but because they were raised in a world where trust was the currency and danger did not hide behind every ring of the phone or every button on a screen. I want to talk to you about that one mistake, the one that allows scammers to drain bank accounts that took entire lifetimes to build. And I want to talk about it in a way that keeps your dignity intact. You deserve that. You always have. Let me begin with someone I once met. Her name was Myra, 74 years old, a widow with kind eyes that carry both strength and exhaustion. She sat across from me holding a crumpled letter and a trembling cup of tea. She had already paid nearly $900 to someone who pretended to be collecting a necessary fee. She whispered that she was afraid, not of the money, but of making a mistake, of someone judging her, of being alone in a world full of shifting rules. And here's the truth that still rises in my chest when I think of her. She didn't legally owe a cent of that payment, yet she paid because fear spoke louder than clarity. That moment has stayed with me every day since. Let me tell you the truth. The most dangerous doorway scammers use is not technology, it is trust. One click or one phone call, that is all it takes. A stranger sounds polite, a message looks familiar. A warning feels urgent. You tap the screen because you do not want trouble. Or you pick up the phone because that is what you have done your entire life. That single moment is where fear meets the law. And scammers know it better than anyone. They count on you acting quickly before your instincts have time to speak. They count on you wanting to be responsible. They count on you being a decent human being in a world where they have chosen not to be. I remember a gentleman named Harold. He was 81, a retired mechanic, steady hands even in old age. He told me he clicked on a message that claimed to be from his bank because the message said his account was at risk. His heart raced. He wanted to protect what he had earned. That one click opened a door for the scammers. They saw his fear. They walked right in. When he looked at me, he did not speak with shame. He spoke with confusion. He said, "I thought I was doing the right thing." And I told him the same thing I will tell you now. You're not wrong. The system around you changed. You did not fail. The world failed to warn you. Scammers survive on pressure. They survive on speed. They survive on silence. That is why the next trap is so common. Giving away verification codes. Let me tell you what they do. They pretend to be the bank or a delivery service or a fraud department. They say, "We just sent you a code. Read it back to us so we can secure your account." And because you want your account protected, you read the code aloud. But the truth is painfully simple. The code is not for securing your account. The code is the key that unlocks it for them. I once sat with a woman named Claire, 78, lived alone but carried the quiet strength of someone who had spent her entire life caring for others. She received a call that said her card had been compromised and she needed to confirm a code to stop a fraudulent charge. She read it aloud. The scammer thanked her, then drained nearly $2,000 from her checking account in less than 60 seconds. When she told me what happened, her voice broke, not out of embarrassment, out of disbelief that kindness could be weaponized. And I leaned forward, softened my voice, and told her something that eased the weight on her shoulder. The law was built to protect you even when the world makes you feel small. What they did was theft. What you did was human. Here's what they don't explain. Your bank will never ask you for a verification code that they sent to you. Not once, not ever. That code is for you. It is a shield, not a tool you hand to someone else. Anyone who asks you for it is not protecting you. They are stealing from you. Another place they slip in is through screen sharing. And this one breaks my heart because it targets people who were taught to be patient, polite, and cooperative. A scammer calls and says they need to help you fix your account, or your device, or a transaction you never made. They ask you to share your screen so they can assist you. They promise it will only take a moment. And once they can see your screen, they can watch you type. They can see your bank login. They can move your mouse without your permission. They can drain your account while thanking you for your patience. Let me tell you about Thomas, a soft-spoken man in his late 70s who still woke up at sunrise out of habit. He let someone into his screen because the caller said his computer had been hacked. He wanted to protect himself. He wanted to keep things in order. He watched as the stranger moved the cursor faster than he could understand. By the time he hung up the phone, several transfers had already been made. When he told me the story, he kept apologizing for not being more careful. And I stopped him. I said, "Thomas, listen to me. You are allowed to trust people. The problem is that these people chose to abuse that trust. That is on them, not you. A screen is not a window. It is an open safe when shared with the wrong person. And you deserve to know that you never need to share it with a stranger. Not for support, not for security. Not for convenience. You have the right to say no. You have the right to hang up. You have the right to protect your space." But let me tell you about another mistake scammers rely on. Responding too late. Not too late to stop them. Too late to stop yourself. Fear pushes good people into quick decisions, but embarrassment slows them down afterward. They hesitate to tell someone. They wait before calling the bank. They hope the problem will disappear. That delay is the opening, because the sooner the bank knows, the stronger your legal protections become. Every hour matters, not because you are at fault, but because urgency is the shield the law gives you. I met a man named Lawrence who waited 2 days after falling for a phone scam because he was ashamed. He thought his children would see him differently. He thought I would see him differently. When he finally reached out, he said, "I should have known better." And I told him the truth. Shame is the second attack scammers use. They rely on silence. They rely on you holding your breath instead of reaching for help. You are not the one who caused the harm. You are the one who survived it. Let me say this as gently as I can. If something feels wrong, call your bank immediately. Tell them what happened, even if the mistake feels small. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to protect yourself before the damage grows. And now I want to tell you something essential. Something every older adult deserves to hear plainly. Here is what your bank will never ask you. They will never ask for your password. They will never ask for your full social security number over the phone. Here is what your bank will never ask you. They will never ask for your password. They will never ask for your full social security number over the phone. They will never ask for a verification code that was sent to you. They will never demand immediate payment. They will never ask you to move your money to a safe account. And they will never send someone to your home to collect your card. Anyone who does these things is not your bank. They are a predator disguised in the language of urgency. Let me tell you the truth. These scams do not happen because you are naive or careless. They happen because you were raised in a world of handshakes, honesty, and predictable rules. None of this is your fault. You are not wrong. The system should protect you. But it doesn't always explain the danger clearly enough. And that silence creates vulnerability where security should exist. I think often of Myra, of her folded letter, of the fear she carried alone. Her story is not rare. It lives in thousands of homes just like hers. I think of the way she looked at me and said, "I just did not want anyone coming after me." And I think of how relieved she looked when I told her the truth. The law was on her side. The scammer counted on her fear. But they did not have the right to take what was hers. You need to hear this too. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to say, "I do not feel comfortable with this." You are allowed to hang up without explanation. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to say, "I do not feel comfortable with this." You are allowed to hang up without explanation. You are allowed to protect the money you earned through decades of early mornings, aching backs, and quiet sacrifices. You are allowed to defend your peace. Here's what fear does. It narrows your vision. It pulls you into urgency. It makes you forget that you have power. And here's what the law does. It widens that vision again. It gives you rights, protections, timelines, and remedies, even when no one tells you. If anyone ever pressures you, remember this. You can pause. You can breathe. You can call your bank directly using the number on the back of your card. You can tell someone you trust. You can refuse to act until you feel steady again. You can do this, truly. And if this brought you one moment of clarity or calm, share it with someone you love. Someone who might be sitting at their own kitchen table tonight feeling unsure. Tell your story if you feel ready. Someone else may need to hear that they are not alone. Stay with me, because your safety, your dignity, and your peace matter more than any scammer's pressure. Always.